Okay, if you don't know, my name's Nick. I live in the Catskills, that's upstate New York. Do a lot of work on the truck videos like this Ram 2500. This is a 2021. I also work in the shop. I have an old Suburban in there, and I do some work on the house. If you like that sort of stuff, subscribe. This video is going to be about the new addition to this Ram. And if you've been following along with this build, if you haven't been, links are in the description. But if you have been, you know, you know what's been added. And it's this camper top right here. This is by a company called Snap Outfitters. They call this the Treehouse. That's what their name for this camper top is. They only have one though. There's a bunch of options you can get. Not a ton of options, but there's a bunch of options you can get. And we can go through some of the ones that I got. It is all aluminum. It's welded too, welded aluminum. That's different than threaded aluminum, meaning like connections by bolts or let's say rivets. This is welded. And it's obviously powder coated black. This company is about 4 hours away from me. It's near the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, which is southern Pennsylvania, southern eastern. So like right by the Maryland border. It's very close to me, less than 4 hours to be honest with you. I think it took me 3 hours and 45 minutes to get there. So it's really perfect for like a one-day trip. Go there, got it installed, came back, was back before 5. It really worked out great. And there's a lot of people, a lot of companies now that are making pop-up tops like this. This one, I feel, is right at the top as far as quality. That is like the main reason I got it. And the second reason I got it too is because it's very close. And I think that really matters. Another thing that matters is that you're going direct. I went direct to Snap Outfitters, meaning I didn't go through another company, let's say, which, I mean, not that I don't like mainline Overland, which is a close one, or OK four-wheel drive. Those are two companies that are very close to me, you know, within 4 hours. I didn't have to go to them. They're a great company, but it's not like they're buying the top from someone else and then I'm buying it from them. I went direct to Snap Outfitters. They don't know anything about these videos or who I am or anything like that. I paid full price for it. We can go through that at the end as far as the pricing is concerned, but going direct is cool. I like going direct. The owners know who you are, right? The workers know who you are. You can speak to them. You can ask them questions. I really like that. So that was a big benefit for me, especially considering it's very close too. If ever there's an issue, which issues happen, you can go right there and get it fixed. That's pretty cool. You know, if you have somebody in between you, you go there, they got to contact the people who made it. How do you get it fixed? Do you got to ship it back? There's a lot of concerns there. So I figure we can go through the top here and I'll show you everything that it has. I'll show you what was options that I got and what standard equipment. It's some really cool standard equipment, I have to say. We'll go through that, and I think you're going to be surprised at like the level of quality that this top brings. The company really did it right. So let's start with this side, these doors. I'll get you a closer view. With the Snap Outfitters top, you're getting 2 doors. It's not one big single door. It's 2 separate single doors. And each one has a handle-like locking mechanism here that is keyed. They're all keyed the same, even the back door that we'll get to by the tailgate. They're all keyed the same. Turn, it opens up. The struts are 30 pounds each. So 60 pounds for an aluminum door with a little window in it. That's pretty strong. This thing pops up good. In fact, it wants to pop up even right here. That's it right there. That thing goes up. You got to watch your face when that thing opens up. It opens up fast. And these doors, they're not crazy heavy duty. They are without a doubt not. They definitely think about weight with these. The top, I believe, weighs around 350 pounds, maybe 375. Now we're talking about a full-size vehicle here. Now we're not talking an 8-foot bed though, we're talking 6 foot, but yeah, it's probably about 350, 375, somewhere around there. This window is an option. I got windows on these 2 doors. On the other side, I didn't get windows, but I'm considering putting the windows in. I have to think about that. One great thing, hey, they're close. All I got to do is go down there, right? Put the windows in, no problem. That's pretty cool. So I'm thinking about it. There is 2 window options though. One is a slider window that doesn't have any like a screen in it or anything. It's just a slider. And I'm thinking now I maybe should have done that option. I didn't, just for like water reasons. You know, I didn't want water to get in, but I probably should have done it. And if I do the two other on the other side, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the slider ones. And again, this same thing on this side opens up just like that. Hinges are riveted hinges. It's 3 and 3, so 6 rivets and 6 rivets. The seal is a rubber gasket right here, up into here. If water does get in here, it's going to come straight down. It's going to hit this sill and it's going to run off, so that's great. Well, there's two ways to do a door, obviously. Some doors go on the outside of, say, a piece of, you know, an L, a miter here, and you're on the outside, which is great for water infiltration. This is basically the smooth side approach. If you did the one with the L, there would be a bump out. This is a smooth side approach. I like this. It's a lot cleaner. And I think the water protection is probably almost as good. I think it's pretty darn good. Clearly, yes, if you get a driving rain right at here at the top while it's either opened or closed, you're going to have, well, first of all, if it's open, you're going to get a driving rain, you're definitely screwed because it's going to go through here. But if you have a driving rain here, there is a possibility that it could go through, but I think my guess is that the gaskets are going to have to be pretty old for it to go through. Right now, you're not going to have a problem. This thing is tight. It's very tight. You can feel it. It's super tight. So I like the two single doors, and the big reason is strength. The doors are stronger when they're smaller, and also you have this pillar in the middle. And this, I believe, is really the way it should be. It's nice having that single door. I know, I get it. You want to open up that big thing and it looks cool and stuff. You have this big open area. But longevity and ease of use, opening up that big door. If you look at like an Alu-Cab one, they only have one lock. I've seen people where they open it up and it binds up like that. These things are not binding. That thing just flips right up. You're never going to have a binding issue. You can't. The lock is right in the center. Let's go to the other side and I'll just show you the doors without the windows. The ones without the windows, you can see it's super clean. They open up exactly the same way. I'm assuming that the windowed doors weigh more. I'm assuming they weigh more. Again, I should have mentioned, that's not glass. That's some sort of poly type material. And let's see how these things open. Do they open the same? That flies up a little bit quicker. So maybe it is heavier. Maybe with the gasketing and stuff like that, and they're probably putting some sealant in there. So I'm guessing that this side, these doors weigh a little bit less. Now you might be saying, oh, can you attach some things to this? I don't know. I think there's a way to do it, but it's not as easy as you think. We'll just drill a hole and attach it. Maybe we'll go over that in a different video and some ideas if I wanted to attach something. Again, we're talking about two single doors here, not one giant door. So what could you attach? That's something to really think about. Again, we'll go over it another time, but yeah, two single doors. Also, if I didn't mention, everything's keyed the same, so that's nice. Let's go over to the tailgate and I'll show you how you get in this. This is big. This is big. The truck's already huge, as you know. Now again, if you haven't watched my previous videos, the back is a stock lift. It's stock, but it is a 3/4 ton. It's big. It's big. In fact, I had to do some recording just earlier today, just to do some B-roll and stuff. And I was going to go over this bridge. And as I was pulling up to it, I said, I don't know if I can get through this bridge. It said 6'6", and I was like, 6'6"? I'm 6'1". I don't think I can do this. I got out and I looked, not even close. Not even close. So this is huge. There's no doubt about it. It's got two locks on the back door, right? Very big window back here. Oh, you're off camera. I'll back you up. Very big window right here. Again, another poly window. I'm not exactly sure of the material. Maybe I can find out and just put it down at the bottom here. But you can't really make this window any bigger. This maxed out size. I mean, height-wise, maybe a little bit, because there's an inner frame on here. You take this much window out, right? You take this much material out. They have to beef it up, which is nice. These are 40-pound struts. And you can see how this thing goes up. Right about here? Yeah. So definitely smoother than the sides. The sides, they go up like crazy. This is kind of the way it should be, right? I think, for sure. Not that there's anything wrong with those sides. They go up quick. That's nice. You just got to watch out. This is nice. This is one where if you let go of it, you don't feel like something, you know, you're going to break something. It's a little handle here. And if you look up at the top here, there's two little brackets. I'll explain those in a bit. But above that, third brake light up there. I didn't know this, but that's standard, this brake light. And it's hooked up. You don't have to hook it up. I didn't even, until they brought the car out to show me after it's all set up, I did not know this brake light was going to be on there. And I'm like, look at this, there's a brake light. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll hook that up. He's like, oh no, we hooked it up already. It's hooked up right inside over here. They wire it up to the brakes. It's gone to that brake line. Now this is LED, it's not a bulb, so you're not gonna have to worry about any fuse issue. And it just works. That's pretty cool, standard, right? Above that is the handle to lift up the top, and there's two locks. Let's do that. And man, I'm gonna have to really push it back somewhere far to get you a view of this. But first, let me show you how it unlocks, and then we'll figure out how to reorientate the camera. Now, fortunately for me, I have this step. Oh. All right. So what's cool is that they're giving you a little safety clip here. There's a little safety clip on either one of these. So if you're driving, obviously you don't have an accident. But then there's also this flip latch on this side, flip latch over here. Before I lift this thing up, I'm going to talk to you about this. This thing is not light. It's not light. I can lift it up right now. I can lift it up with my right hand. I struggle a little bit, and I'm not a weak person. So I would say that most people are going to be using two hands, and they're really going to have to, you know, push with their legs. I think it's going to be one of these where you're pushing with your legs. But once you put some weight on top of this, which is, I guess, I should also mention that you can keep 350 pounds on the top of this roof. You can drive with it. That's not static. You can put 350 pounds while driving down the road. It comes with T-tracks already installed. That's also standard. That's pretty cool. T-tracks that run the entire length of this, that you can install a Rhino rack or a Thule rack. If you want to lift up the top though, they say it's a max 100. They also told me that there are people that put more than 100 and they can get the top up, but they suggest not going over 100. And there's probably two important reasons. One is the struts, okay, they might not lift it up, but two is that you might not lift it up because this thing already weighs a ton. So obviously I'm pretty far away, but you can hear me. It's probably about 1.5 feet. Once you get to about 1.5 feet, you can see that I'm right at that midpoint of the struts where you could tap it a little bit down and it's going to close, or you're going to tap it a little bit up and it's going to go up. And that's what I did. I just tapped it up and then it opened up. You can see from here that there's an elastic, like bungee cord type thing. That's going to be when you close it, it's going to help you keep the thing in. You close it with this sort of ladder strap thing that I'll show you later. There are the struts. And I cannot see the weight. I really want to know the weight of these though. The poundage. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out though. You can see a window here. And there's a window on the other side, but there's no window here. As of this moment, there's no option to get a window here. But they told me they are working on it. I have to say though, I've got to be honest with you, I don't think I would have got that option. Now it seems crazy. You might think to yourself, man, that's everything. Having this window here, you're laying down, you can look out. I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Here's my thinking on this, is that if you have this window here, and this is on an angle, there's a real decent chance of a water problem, right? And you know this because all the companies that do put a window here, they include a rain fly, right? There's always that rain fly there, right? Well, if you got the rainfly there, you can't see out the window, right? The rainfly is going to just cover everything, and all you're going to do is you'll be able to look out and see the ground. You're going to see your tailgate or something, and that's it. Now, you might say, well, if it's not going to rain, then you could. It's true, it's possible, but you're pretty much always going to put the rainfly in unless you're camping in Death Valley or something like that, where you know it's not going to rain, because you just never know what's going to happen. Obviously, I'm sitting right here at the edge. This dimension, I think this is something like 45 inches, 46 inches, 47, something like that. You can see this right here above my head. This is a ladder, okay? Again, this is standard. So this is an aluminum ladder, and it unclips right here and lowers. It looks like it's laser etched, or laser or water jet, I'm not really sure, but it says Snap Outfitters Treehouse. The actual foot part where you step, the texture is good, and I've walked up here a bunch of times. The grip is really good. Now, if you have a drawer system, or let's say I had a drawer system, right? Might do something like that. Clearly this ladder's going to be too tall. We're going to have to do something there. But it should be pretty easy. I'm assuming that all we're going to do is just lop it off right here. Now, the interesting part about that, though, is that if we do that, this ladder won't be able to double for what it actually is supposed to double for, which is up here. Remember those brackets that I pointed out? Well, those brackets, this attaches to those brackets so that you could climb onto the roof. There's some little pins up here. All you do is pull the pins out and then just attach it to this part. But again, if I cut this thing off, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. Maybe the right move is to cut it and then hinge it. We'll get to that in another video. But yes, standard comes this ladder where you can climb up. Okay, obviously you're angled straight up. This is the ladder right here. This is the platform. You can see the hole right here. This platform actually is on two struts, and all you got to do is just push it and it goes straight up, and that allows you to stand up in here. And let me tell you something, there is a ton of room. At this point right here, there's like 8 feet, at least 8 feet. This is more like 9 feet at this corner. I can stand back here, all the way at the back of the top. I can stand essentially straight up on a flat, on the actual bed. Now, obviously, if there was a drawer system here that was a foot higher, I would probably be able to stand to right about here, I'm thinking. So that's going to give me, I would say 4.5 feet this way. I would lose 1.5 feet where I couldn't stand straight up. Not really a big deal when considering I can't even come close to touching the top over here. So there is a ton of room, an absolute insane amount of room in here. Let me get you on a tripod so that you can see the inside of the lower half before we lower this and then we go up into the camper. All right, I'm actually using my phone as the camera right here. And you can see the inside. These are clearly the ones without the windows on the passenger side. These wires right here, well, these are two things. The first is that this is actually the wire that you can hook up to a battery for this. Oh, I would call it like an auxiliary panel. There's a switch here, an on-off switch, which I'll show you in a second what that controls. This is a 12 volt, so a cigarette lighter. This is 2 USBs. And this, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what that is. I was looking at this earlier. I have to email them or something like that. It kind of seems like it's another auxiliary power if you wanted to just plug 2 wires into this. You know, obviously a ground and a power and power something. That might be what that is. I'm not completely sure. I'll find out. Maybe I'll do another video on it or something like that. Well, clearly I wouldn't do a video on just this, but maybe actually we're hooking something up to it. But this goes to one of these wires here. There's 2. So what does the other one do? Well, I actually got this pre-wired for solar. That is an option. So This wire goes through here, and then it goes around and up, and it's hanging there so that it can connect the solar panels. I guess that's a little like preview of what's going to happen with this. But yeah, that is an option where you can get this wire run. And they like to do this while they're manufacturing. I asked them about that. I said, can I do this? Because I wasn't sure exactly when I was going to get solar, if I was going to get solar. But if I was, you definitely want it to be clean installed like this. So they do this during the manufacturing point. So some of the other options you can get afterwards. Like obviously if you want to do windows, you could do windows afterwards. But this one, you want to do it when it actually is getting built. Now this right here, oops, sorry about this light. Let me flip this light around. I apologize. This is a window. Now this window is optional, and the sliders is another option. So this actually is a slider window. This piece slides that way, and this piece slides this way so that you have a centered window. Now you can't open it up from this side. This is something interesting. The actual lock is on that side. And I tell you, you know, I don't know if the lock should be on this side or the other side. I really don't know. Obviously, if it was on this side and you wanted it open from the cab, you'd be like, damn, that lock should be on the inside, on the inside of the cab. So you don't know, but it's got to be on one side. It happens to be on the other. It's not really like a lock. It's a latch. But either way, it slides open, and I have a window on the cab that I can open up with power. So I definitely wanted this to open. Not like you can't get through here. I mean, my wife's skinny and she couldn't even get through here. Maybe we could get a dog through here. I could probably send McAllister through that. He's just about a year old. Really what it's about just a pass through. You could pass something through, or you could grab something from the back seat. That's kind of what this is about. You could also let heat through there into this. Maybe, if you have the dogs in here, you're on a long drive and it's cold, you open up those two windows and maybe you seal this somehow, which I could probably figure out something maybe with a bicycle tire, inner tube, but you get the heat through there. So that's the reason that you want that. If you got the window on the cab, you should get the slider on this. That's how I was thinking about it. This is where that switch goes to. This is a light and this is standard. So you can see the wire right here, and it goes all the way. It runs inside that tube. That looks like 1x1, and it's going to come out here. So when you put power to this, you're going to get this light from the switch, which you can hit from when you're sleeping in the platform. So let's lower the platform, which happens to be very easy. In fact, this is the strap. I assume you can pull this. This is the strap that holds up the ladder. I guess you can pull this. Oh, I see what they do. They also give you this thing. This little handle. Yeah, that's not bad. You're pulling it from the middle, which you would think would be hard, but it's actually not that bad. Okay, again, I'm on my phone here. This is the sleeping platform down. I just have a light here, and I'm getting the audio out of my regular camera. But you can see this liner right here. This is what they call their like cold weather package or something like that. And it's a synthetic filled, basically liner that's pretty thick. I mean, it's a good 1/2 inch thick in this area, maybe even a little bit more, maybe 5/8, and it runs the entire sides. It runs across there, which is really cool. They didn't have to do that. I'll be honest with you. They didn't have to do that, but they did it, which is really cool. It runs along here, and then obviously it's this entire back part. So this is whole thing. This is the liner that, again, is only an option. Has a double zipper. You open that up. Now from here, there is a clear window. Now this is all Velcro. These two Velcro layers, and there's another zipper layer. So let's go through this. This is a Velcro layer. It's a clear window. You can see it right here. This is a heavy-duty plastic. It's really heavy-duty. It's not like that, makeup bag clear plastic. This stuff is super thick, and the Velcro, it looks like it's double stitched, and it's very strong. When it hits it, you can hear it, and it's obviously all the way around. It's not spot Velcroed. I'll just fold this so that, sorry about the noise. I'll lower these sounds. post-processing. Now this layer is another Velcro layer, and I would call this a bug screen layer, but it's not a midge layer. This is not small enough to stop a midge, but I think that's actually really smart. Let's pull this off. This is like, you know, it's hard to explain what this material is, but I could see this being on like a heavy duty bag. I feel like I've seen this on a bag before or something like that. It's a poly material, a plastic material, and the holes are, I would say 1 millimeter by 2 millimeters, rectangle. So a midge is going to be able to get through this probably, but not a mosquito. And why do I think that's the right move? Because the netting you need for a midge, to block a midge, is super, super thin, and it is not going to hold up. You pull that thing off, it's just going to rip. It's not something that you can take off and on. It's like a permanent application, and even then, wind could totally rip that and separate the mesh so that a midge could get through. This thing, there's nothing that's going to happen to this. This part right here is not going to break. It is not going to rip. This thing is going to last forever. The only thing that could possibly happen is the Velcro can maybe come unstitched a little bit, but I don't think that's a big deal. That's totally and completely fixable. You know, if the mesh breaks on one of those midge nets, it's over. So I think they did this right. It's super heavy duty. Now this is another double zipper, and it goes to the outside, and this is that bungee cord that I didn't lower. But this is we're totally on the outside right now. Now you might say to yourself, okay, so I don't understand. Like, how do I make just the netting up or just the window up? Well, what they did here is that they made these step in. If you can see how wide this Velcro is that it's all stepped in. This thing zippers in right to the left of this Velcro. You can throw this through like that. If you want the netting in, you can just Velcro this right up here. No problem. See that? Just goes right up. And now you have the mosquito net installed, right? And you can take this and you can roll it up. And at night, you could just roll up this part and put this part up, right? And then all you have is this netting. And in reality, this is really a good way to use this cold weather package actually in the summer. You keep the netting here like this, which is going to actually create airflow, and then you leave this off and you zipper this up. That has airflow in it, but you're not going to be crazy hot. Now, let's say you say, okay, what about the window? I don't want the mesh, I just want the window, which is a really cool thing to have. Take that off, you toss that thing through. Now, I'm not sure if they want you to toss it through or roll it up, but either way, you can roll it up or you can toss it through. I would say if it's windy, it's probably not a good idea to do what I'm doing right here. You'd want to roll it up, which I can show you in a second how you would do. But then you just take this thing and you Velcro this up. But if you look here, what they've done is that they've made it so that the mesh Velcros in this spot, and then the clear window Velcros just to the right or the left of it, which means that you can put up any one of these sections whenever you want to in different, combinations. That is really cool. Now you can take these two right here if you want to, and you can roll them up like this. And all you want to do is just tuck them in. You don't want the Velcro to catch. And then well, as you can see, yeah. So now, obviously, you can bring this down. I'm just doing it very quickly, but you can set it up where this is probably down to about this area, and now you have a window. You can do that on both sides. You could have this zippered up. It actually lets some light through. You see that, which is very interesting. That's not the light from that's not the light from this light right here. That's actually the light from the outside. You can see my hand probably right here. Okay, let's talk platform to sleep on. This platform right here is, you were on the cab side of the truck. I'm on the tailgate side of the truck. Obviously, because I'm standing in this opening, I'm standing on the bed. This is about 6'3". Now, if you know anything about these sort of type of campers, 6'3" is actually not that big. Now, me being 6'1", you would think, you just fit. I really don't fit, actually. And that is because if my head's over there by you, there's a chance that I whack my head right up in there, and it can get claustrophobic. So most people will sleep with their head over here. Problem is, my feet are really big, so it's size 14 feet. So, if I'm sleeping on my back, my feet, I won't be able to get out because my foot will be wedged in. So you might be saying to yourself, so what the hell are you going to do? Well, this spot that I'm standing in right now, I can put a panel in this spot. Now it can be hinged, it can be all kinds of different, it can be permanent, it can be anything. I could put a single panel here, I could put a removal that's permanent, I could put one over here that's removable, I can make them both removable, I can do anything I want, and it gives me, maybe another 1.5 feet. So I could have 7'6", let's say, instead of 6'3". Obviously more than that, but I mean, that is awesome. That means that my wife, Sam, who's almost 5'8", we could be aligned by you, and my feet could be on a panel, and she would be short of this opening. We could leave this open, and I could easily just crawl down if I want to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, which I have unfortunately been known to do 2-3 times a night. Or we could sleep with our feet over by you, and we would have our heads not aligned by, not that much, but my head would be over here and we'd have the windows right here. So there's a couple different ways we can do it. But the cool thing is that you can add, there's a little lip here, I can totally add a little platform. They actually will do it for you. It's not on their options list, but they can do it. They're actually trying to come up with a really good way to do it. Now, the way they've done in the past, I think is just simple. But I think they want a real clean, like permanent sliding type installation. They're still trying to come up with that, but I'm just going to do it myself because I would need it right away, and I'm not sure when their like foolproof design is going to be done. But we'll do a video on it. I'm just going to build a panel that goes in here, and it's got to be close to the sleeping platform. It doesn't have to be dead on, because in reality, there's a mattress that goes on top of this. They give you a mattress, which is really interesting, a 3-inch memory foam topper. Now, there is some concerns about memory foam. But it's not a permanent thing here. I can take it off, I can put it on. The problems with memory foam is this, is that in the summertime, it can be a little bit warm, and in the wintertime it can freeze. It can be actually frozen. So in the fall or the spring, a memory foam is really kind of perfect, very comfortable. So I'm going to toss it around of what to do. I might swap it in and out. In the winter, I might have to go with an eggshell. It might have to be a little bit higher, maybe like a 5-inch eggshell. I'm not exactly sure yet. So when I figure it out, you'll probably be the second to know. Sam will probably be the first. But let me close this thing up, and then we can wrap up this video. I think I've pretty much talked about everything. Yeah. All right. Let me close this up. We'll get out of here. All right, I want to talk about a few things before I let you go. It's starting to rain, it's getting cold, and I lost my dead cat on the mic. So this has taken a long time, this video, but I think it's worth it. So if there's any wind, I apologize for that, and I'll try and cut as much as I can out. The first thing is that I want to talk to you about this all centers around quality. The first thing is welds. I talked about TIG welding. They TIG weld all the welds. It's more than 10 feet of weld. That's a lot of work. It costs a lot of money to do that. Not a lot of companies do it, because most of the time they would have to employ somebody that can do it. Fortunately, Ross, he's either part owner, or I know his father owns either part or all of the company. So in a way, they're very lucky that Ross can do this, because you do not want to pay somebody, a TIG welder, to do all these. It's going to cost a shit ton of money. So that's the first thing. These welds are great. They look great. I'm just so impressed by the quality of the welds. I even told Ross, I looked at him, I was like, man, I was like, you got some good welds here. They really look good. They're very symmetrical. Long 2-foot welds, 2-foot TIG welds on aluminum. Let me tell you something, that is extremely hard to do. Extremely hard to do. The next thing is, this cap is custom. This is important. There's two different types of manufacturing on these caps. One is that, okay, we take the 6-foot beds that are half ton and 3/4 ton and whatever, and we make them all the same, and it fits a little weird on the 250, it fits a little weird on a Silverado, it fits a little weird on the Ram, but it works, right? They make it a little bit smaller. That's not how they do it. I took dimensions of this bed and I took pictures of the dimensions and they built it to those dimensions. And let me tell you something, this thing couldn't be a 1/4 inch bigger. It is absolutely the biggest it can possibly be. If it was a 1/4 inch bigger, you'd be nervous. They'd be like, geez, you know, it could shift a little bit. No, this is the biggest it could possibly be. It's perfect. That's what you want. You want it the biggest it can possibly be and still be safe. That's what this is. And I cannot believe they were able to match. This bed is not a rectangle. It's wider here than it is down there. If you can look, it's flush right here. This is off camera. It's flush here. But if you look down at the end, it's about 3 inches over there. The cap, the top, the actual pop top is rectangular. But this is sloped in this way and it's sloped in this way. It's a compound angle. So they manufactured this top at a compound angle off my Gorilla tape measure dimensions that I sent them over an email. And it fits perfect. I'm telling you right now, that takes serious talent. Trust me, I know what it takes to build something off, let's say, just plans when you just have dimensions and you're not in the field. It's a totally different ballgame when you're in the field. They didn't have the truck, all they had was the dimensions. That's amazing to me. So these two things really speak to the quality, and I think in like some future videos, I'm going to definitely compare this top to other tops out there that I would say are competitors. But yeah, I mean, it's the way they did this one is really amazing. Now, the last thing is the price. The price is no secret. It's on the website. You can see the base price was $11,000. It's a ton of money. With the options that I got, it came to about $13,200 with tax. It's a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know how to, it's hard to justify it, right? The only thing I can say is that if you're going to spend that kind of money, you got to make sure that it's going to last forever. And that's what this is. It's aluminum, it's welded, it's going to last forever. It's like a drift boat. I got the 2007, the thing looks mint and it's 14 years old. This thing is aluminum, it's never going to rust. The only thing that's going to kill this thing is if a tractor trailer hits it. That's it. That's it. It's never going to rust away. If a weld breaks, which at some point in time it will, it just gets re-welded. If a rivet pops out, you're just going to put the rivet in, put a replacement rivet in. That's it. It's going to last forever. So 20 years. Now, is it worth 13 grand? Well, now, granted, if I take this top off and put it onto a different truck, a different 3/4 or half ton or whatever, yeah, it may not fit like it fits on this one. It fits perfect on this one. But there's ways to make that work. If it's a little too small or maybe a little too big, we can fill it in. We could weld something in there. There's ways to make it work. It's really about, is the quality still there in, say, 10, 15, 20 years? I believe it's going to, and even if it breaks a long time, like I said, it can be fixed. So it's going to be there in 20 years. So yeah, it's a lot of money, but you get what you pay for. That's really what it comes down to. You get what you pay for. So that's it. We're going to wrap this thing up. Long video, but I wanted to go through everything, and obviously this being stage 2, really like the start of this next phase, I wanted to make sure you understand what I'm working with. This is the big one, right? Of course, but there's a lot of stuff to do still. Ton of stuff. We're probably not going to be done until summer next year. Summer 2022 is really when it will probably be done, and then there'll be like little tiny things here and there. But yeah, a lot of stuff left to do. All right, let me get out of here because my hands are frozen. All right, see you everyone. Thanks.